Perfect. Perfect. Perfect.
What is going on, everybody? RB here. Welcome back to Philly Take with RB. You know what to do. Go ahead and smash that like button for me. Hit the subscribe if you're new and hit that little notification bell. That way you're always notified when I upload or go live. Today we're back, and I was actually getting ready to post a huge trade video entailing a bunch of breakdowns and packages and ideas that I think the Sixers can use at the deadline. And that will be out later tonight, so be sure to be on the look for that. But in the meantime, we have a little instant news and rumors thrown around. Yeah, that's right. The Philadelphia 76ers and GM Daryl Morey yet again have their eyes on another target, this time being Will Barton, 2-guard/3 from the Denver Nuggets. Will Barton, a former second-round pick in 2012, 30 years old. He's been in the league for about 10 years now, and he spent the last 7 years with the Denver Nuggets. He's still playing ball at a decent rate, and Will Barton, to me, is just your everyday role player. And along with Will Barton, you know, some of these other guys that we have been talking about, like PJ Tucker and George Hill, Delon Wright, are all being reported as potential targets because the Sixers, as Jason Dumas of Bleacher Report says here, you know, are not content completely with their roster, and they believe that this could be the year, and they want to make that push. They don't want Brooklyn to get too far ahead, and the Sixers think that they can compete, so they're going to try to build out this supporting cast here, and I think that is the strategy. Again, I'll talk about this more in my video later. But Will Barton seems like a pretty good target if the Sixers want to go this route. So like I said, Will Barton has a good amount of experience. And so far this year, he's played 29 out of 33 games, and in which he started for the Denver Nuggets. And he's shooting the ball at a high rate. He's a 35% three-point shooter throughout his career, but this year he's actually shooting his best percentage from long range at 38.8%. He's averaging 11.5 points a game. He'll give you 4, 5, 6 rebounds a game, couple assists. And in my eyes, he's actually a kind of an underrated defender. I think he can guard 1 through 3. I think he still has his feet under him. And in comparison to a guy like a Danny Green, I think that Will Barton is still a step ahead. He's still a little bit younger. Danny Green's 33 years old. He's getting up there in age, and you can see he's lost some of that pep in his step. But I think Will Barton, 3 years younger, putting up more points and shooting a little bit better than Danny Green, just has a little more left in the tank. And I really like Will Barton as a potential trade piece for this team. Now, you might be asking, well, do you have to give up Danny Green? We're going to talk about a potential trade package and how I think this could go down in a second. But yeah, Will Barton he's, like I say, he's your everyday role player. He knows what his job is. He's going to come in, and he's going to give you 25, 30 minutes a game. He's going to play. He's going to play as a 3-and-D guy. He's going to know his role. And I think he has some toughness to him. I like Will Barton, and I like his game. I've never been the highest on him. I've never been the lowest. He's just, another role player. He's seen the playoffs a few times. And really the main thing that comes down to it for me is looking for in terms of a Denver Nuggets perspective, right? Do the Denver Nuggets want to part with a guy like this? Well, Will Barton is on the 3rd year of a 4-year extension that they gave to him. 4 years, $53 million. Will Barton's making $13.7 million this year, and next year he's actually scheduled to make $14.6 million in the final year of his contract. And this is what it comes down to. If the Nuggets are trying to shed a guy like that, I've heard his name come up. I've also heard guys like Gary Harris, and I've even heard Michael Porter Jr., which is a guy that I actually loved, 3 years ago in the draft, and I wanted the Sixers to get. And based on his injury history and, what they're seeing from him, they don't know if he could be the guy for them because they're trying to form a big 3 in Denver, in my eyes. I think they're trying to put another guy that can create next to Jamal Murray and next to Jokic. And that's another point about Will Barton. Yes, I like the fact that he can create a little bit off the dribble. He can create some space, unlike Danny Green. Now, he's not some star that's going to come out and put up 30 a night, but in terms of what the Sixers are looking for, I think he's a bit of an upgrade over Danny Green. And believe it or not, I think we could actually keep Danny Green and move him to the bench and actually plug Will Barton into our starting lineup, and he brings a ton of experience. But yeah, he's going to be able to be a 3-and-D guy and also create off the dribble when you need him to, taking some pressure off your primary guard. And like I said, I think he plays a little bit bigger than his size, 6'6", 180, I believe, which is, you know, a nice fit for Will Barton. And I think, like I said, he plays a little bit bigger on defense, and I like his attitude. I like how Will Barton plays. So looking in terms of the contract, you know, as the Nuggets are trying to get better, they're a 6th seed in the West. I think that, you know, they have underperformed this season so far. They are expecting to be a top 4 seed in the West. And, you know, I think they're going to do what's necessary to get that done. So they could potentially shed a couple of their older veteran guys like Will Barton in their contracts. And that's actually another good thing for the Sixers, because I think this could not potentially just be a 1-year rental like a Danny Green is, right? For $15 million. We could potentially keep Will Barton for next year if we please, or we could go ahead and flip him in the offseason or do what needs to be done as long as he stays healthy and does his job. But overall, I think it checks all the boxes. I think this would be a good trade. It's just about, do the Nuggets feel that they have to get rid of some of these guys to go out and make a huge splash? That's really what it comes down to. But Will Barton to me is a bit of an upgrade over Danny Green. He's not the greatest shooter in the league, but I think he's improved over his career. And like I said, he's shooting the best from his career this year. But let's go ahead and look at a potential trade package, because this is how I actually think it could get done. I saw this on Twitter, and I actually went ahead and kind of revamped it a little bit in my eyes. But the Sixers could actually get this done by using a third team in the trade, which is the Houston Rockets, a team that's trying to, obviously, like we've been talking about with the whole PJ Tucker thing, the Rockets went downhill. They're trying to get a bunch of expiring contracts and clear a lot of space for cap. I think they're going to end up going into a rebuild. But could you imagine if the Sixers land 2 of the targets they have been really high on in PJ Tucker and Will Barton, both of those guys coming to the Philadelphia 76ers? The Denver Nuggets get that third guy that they want, as long as he stays healthy, which is Victor Oladipo. You know, pair him up with Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic. We throw in Tony Bradley or a guy like Vincent Poirier or someone like that that could match the contracts up. And then the Houston Rockets, like I said, get a bunch of expiring contracts in Mike Scott. They get JaMychal Green from the Nuggets. They get T. Ferg. Or, you know, you could plug some of these other guys in. And then they end up getting a first-round pick from Denver, you know, in exchange for the Oladipo thing. And then they get a second-rounder in the future from the Sixers via New York. Could you imagine a trade like this? I mean, you could, you know, flip it around a little bit, maybe add another second or something like that in there, you know, match up the contracts. But overall, I think that this trade would actually be pretty successful. I think that the Sixers would be able to land 2 targets. They wouldn't have to give up too much to get this done. Maybe you're saying, you know, the Sixers got to give up a little bit more, but all right, maybe you throw in a potential first round unprotected in the future. Maybe you throw in something else. I wouldn't mind that. If you're able to get a potential 3-and-D starter who can create a little bit more than Danny Green, who's a little bit faster and younger, and you're able to get a guy like PJ Tucker, if you are high on him, to me, he's not a must, but, you know, he could go either way, and I wouldn't mind having him, right? So if you could get a guy like PJ Tucker and a guy like Will Barton in a 3-team trade, I think this is a win-win-win. I think it's a win for everybody. I think Denver gets their third guy. I think the Sixers get some well-needed depth. And I think the Rockets get some contracts that they can get rid of and build up some cap space and get some picks for the future. And again, this isn't concrete. I did this in a few minutes, but if there's any tweaks or adjustments, you guys can let me know down below. But overall, that's pretty much what I got. I think this would be a good trade, and I think it would be smart to involve another team like this. But hey, you guys let me know all your thoughts down below in the comment section. What do you think about a potential Will Barton trade? Do the Sixers have enough assets to get it done? And would Daryl Morey pull the trigger on, for example, a 3-team trade like this? Give me all your thoughts down below in the comment section. Like I said, we will have a huge trade video out later tonight. Be sure to check it out. And with that being said, thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate it, and have a great day, man. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
Perfect.